Hello, happy Monday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the 757 Lacrosse Hour. Mark Hargrave, along with my partner, Scott Holava. Scotty, how are you today?
Living the dream.
And by the way, let's just start off. First of all, we made it to week 4. If anybody sees a difference here, no headsets, right? That's for 2 reasons. They upgraded our mics a little bit, and they couldn't find a headset that fit my big fat head. So a little bit of an upgrade here. We made it to week 4. They haven't fired us. This is good. We got people listening. So we got a lot of things going on. And, you know, one thing before we start, we had some questions from people. Scott and I caught the FC Cape Henry game this Saturday, and we had a few people come up to us and said, are you guys actually together in that studio? And we are. We're sitting right across from each other.
So, bud, how you doing, man?
And our guests are here as well. And we got another great guest for you today. We're going to get to him right after our usual first segment of scores and updates. And we will start with the public schools. Scotty Holava, take it away, my friend.
Last week, bunch of games. You had a couple wins, Cox and Kellum, just stacking them up here, heading into their game in a couple weeks here. So I would assume that would continue, like I said last week. But we've seen, I was at the Tallwood game, I was at the Bayside game. I got to say, I've seen some of these teams are really improving. You can look at these records when we get past Cox and Kellum, we got a logjam with the next 4, really. I got to give a shout out really to FC, PA, Bayside, and Kempsville really for significant improvement. Like Mark said, we were at the game at Cape, and just seeing FC look like a different team. Just organized, playing well, playing together.
Good fundamentals.
Really good. And then just being a person on the sideline, hearing the parents talk about that as well was really inspiring. So kudos to all you guys that are doing that. Record-wise, Cox and Kellum 10-1, PA 6-3, First Colonial 4-6, Ocean Lakes 5-6, Bayside 4-4, Kempsville 5-5, Salem 1-6, Tallwood 0-7, Green Run 0-8. Mark, I was at the Tallwood game.
Yeah.
And I got to say it was really disappointing. One, the fact that we pay $8 to attend these VHSL games locally. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. That is what it is. But as I'm sitting there watching this game, okay, where are all the hog farms located here in Virginia and Suffolk?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, box to box on this field, from restraining box to restraining box, it was a dirt pile. It was dirt.
It's frustrating.
There was no grass.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. The kids faced off, and I mean, I'm an old guy, so the old Wile E. Coyote cartoons with a big explosion in the pile of dust, and then all of a sudden the kid escapes from the dust with the ball.
Right.
So in the spirit of caring about the children, one, that cannot be healthy for those kids breathing that stuff. And for 2, come on, you got to do better.
Look,
let's have some grass.
I agree with you. I really do. And you can counterpoint that by saying, you're paying for the refs, you're paying for the janitor who has to stick around, you're paying for this and that. I get it. My concern with the cost of the public school games is just building that fan base. You want to get families in the seats. You want students to come out, which I'm guessing students are for free, but I don't know. We'll have to get clarification on that. Our
middle school kids paying
$8 or not, and you'll understand why he knows the answer to that. So if you're building a fan base, you want to build a fan base up of the kids and of the parents and the grandparents. I got a problem with that. I have to say, and somebody could probably come and sit here and tell me you're wrong, and they would probably be right and be able to give me a dissertation on why I'm wrong. I don't get it.
Maybe
I do have a problem with that too.
Maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe part of my problem with it is I can go watch these guys play nationally ranked teams for free.
Right.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe CNU, which is about to go in the NCAA tournament.
I went over there this year.
I believe that is also a free entry.
It is.
You watch the top level lacrosse in the nation playing in our backyard for free, yet I have to go watch the poor Tallwood team play on a dirt pile.
Yeah, it's totally frustrating. By the way, hey, before we forget, we got to give a shout out. Talk to our good friend Ben Jackson. They had a win over Salem last week, 2-0. Brody Jacobs and Jeremiah Sadeka, a long pole with a goal. And Ben's doing really good stuff for those guys. So good on you, boys. That's really, really good.
Yep. Stay positive, sticking with it.
Okay, so even I'm sorry, it's $4 to get in. Okay, again,
For a student.
yeah, for a student. Oh man, that pressures me a little bit. VHSL, sorry.
Mhm.
Build your fan base up.
Again.
Then if we want to start doing that for playoffs and championship, I get it. Sorry, Scott.
And I mean, just not to just to hammer the field thing, but again, soccer is a spring sport, and we're arm wrestling with soccer, and I believe a lot of the schools, soccer has their own grass, which you're not allowed to play on. So, boys and girls lacrosse has to go arm wrestle over, small patches of grass somewhere.
Yeah,
so again, and then varsity teams having to defer to JV teams. In the history of high school sports, I'm not sure when that ever happened. I'm not sure football has to defer to any JV teams on the fall time. But anyway, back to the positivity here. Watching the Bayside game, I was really inspired as I just look, and this is me, maybe with my college coach eyes on. I'm looking at the Bayside goalie, and I was hoping to get his name today, but I'm sorry, I forgot it. But man, I looked at your body language, just looking at you in the cage. You look to me like you knew what you're doing, dude. I mean, to me, you look confident, absolutely in control, really, really good. And again, that's a controllable thing, players. Okay, I don't know if he was good or not, but he looked like he was good. My first 3 seconds, coach, looking at him, he looked awesome.
Fantastic.
Max Appleman as well. I got to give him a shout out. His big bro, I knew pretty good, but seeing him help that group, again, leading with positivity, just trying to help each other get better. I mean, it's key.
And again, with FC too, I mean, those guys were as we had Coach Luke on, and he was very honest about it. And I actually saw Ryder Spears at halftime and spoke with him because Ryder is unfortunately unable to play this year. And he said, Coach, we have come so far with the fundamental throwing and catching. And that's really what caught my eye. They got a guy in attackman, 25, I believe it's Hall. He can move really, really well. Any level. Those guys impressed me. There was kids on that field that were good fundamental lacrosse players. And that's what we need. Again, we get the athletes out. We teach them how to play. It's going to get better and better. Over to TCIS. So we got to review the game that, we talked about last week, the Catholic NA game. And for about 3 quarters, it lived up to the hype. It was 10-7 at half. Catholic would get it within 2, or they, tie it at one point, and then they would pull away by 2 or 3 goals. And then that last 3 minutes of the third quarter happened, and the wheels came off for Catholic. It was an 18-9 final. Norfolk Academy, we talked about it the last couple of weeks with those guys. Incredibly athletic, but when you can't clear the ball and you're having trouble in the middle of the field with ground balls and clearing, you're going to lose to a lot of teams. And I think Catholic is a better team than what they showed. But NA, good on you guys. I mean, we talked a lot about the older guys last week that we highlighted. Some of these guys that have played for a while. I'll tell you what, Ashton Crocker, Cheston, Henry Cheston, those 2 freshmen were absolutely phenomenal. They stepped up and played a heck of a game. Those guys are athletic as hell. They're all over the place. One of the things we're going to do here is one time here in the summer when the teams aren't playing it, obviously, is talk about clearing. And, for those of you who are newer to the game, when you clear, unless the team is 10-man riding you, which is a whole other thing, you should have a one-man advantage. You're like a man up, right? So it's 7 for 6 with your goalie included in that. Sometimes when you have a team that can ride well, it can seem like there's 15 guys out there against your 7. I mean, it really does. And we all play
away at that point.
And it is a tough thing when you got a great riding team, and NA rides the heck out of people. And again, very impressed with their overall play. Again, I think Catholic's better than they showed, and I think if they're able to come back and make that championship game, I'm hoping it'll be a closer score for everybody in the area because it's better lacrosse that way when we got tight games. TCIS, as we mentioned too, now all the scores are out the window. The records are out the window. We got the tournament starting today. NA gets the bye as the number 1 seed. Catholic will play Norfolk Christian, Cape, and NOCO today. That is going to be a very, very good game. That'll be a really important game to see who plays NA. And then you got NSA and Stewart. And I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. That 2-3 matchup, if Catholic's able to get by Norfolk Christian today and NA is able to beat Stewart, that is going to be a barn burner of a game, folks. That's that.
Coach, I'm going to speak to the, to last week's schedule for Catholic. And again, NA has the same type of schedule. And this is my argument back to VHSL.
Sure.
Okay? When I go to watch Catholic have to play Christ Church,
That was a battle.
who I believe is number
Battle.
3 in the state.
Yeah,
I believe
fantastic.
right now. Again, awesome team, really, really good.
Yes.
And watching the Crusaders really stick with them.
They
fought
played
to the end.
48 minutes of hard ball.
But you got to, no excuses, guys. Be in shape. You can control that guy. But turning around quick
Yes.
and having to go play another top 10 team is just a tough deal. But that's a
It
real schedule. So when you look at those, Coach, when you look at those rankings on the max preps, I mean, guys, look at the strength of schedule column. Okay, look at where everyone is and look at that number. Okay, that's what you look at.
Great.
If I'm looking at this as we develop and as our teams get better and better, which they will, the numbers should get better, especially
I think
for here for Tidewell.
You mentioned that. Look at this. Look at St. Chris. I think they're probably 7-10 or 7-11. Look at who they played.
Yeah.
They have a gauntlet of a schedule.
Exactly.
They came in. They beat Catholic. They beat other teams that are real good. That's what you want. You want your kids to be able to face that competition consistently. So when you get to this week and you get to states, right, that you are used to playing at that higher level.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. And so we got the playing round today. We got semifinals tomorrow, and then the TCIS championship Thursday night, which again should be a packed house and be a great atmosphere. Yeah. NA's tough. If you can't catch up with those guys athletically, it's going to be tough to beat them. So
and again, it's tell them NA. I mean, they have 30 guys deep.
Yes.
That can all play.
Yes.
So back to the VHSL when Kellum is not trying, and Cox are not trying to score 1 million points against some of our newer guys and newer teams.
Right.
I promise you that. But when you're putting in the bench guys, okay, and they're still as good as the starting team on the other side, what are you going to tell the guys? Not to play?
No,
You're going to tell the kids not to don't shoot anymore? I mean, so what do you do?
They put the time in practice every day to get a chance to go.
Coaching, that's hard. It's hard on both sides.
Yeah.
Just to give the perspective a little bit on that, definitely was a challenge for me without a doubt. I know Coach Aiello and Coach Burke they're dealing with the same thing.
No, I talked to Coach Aiello yesterday for a little while, and his thing was, look, we just got to keep these guys. It was not an insult at all to any other teams. He said, we just got to keep these guys ready for next week and then beyond when their playoffs start. And that's tough to do.
How do they get ready? I mean, they got to play the beach schedule.
Practice as hard as you can. If you're a starter, you want to go up against those starters in practice. You want to go up against the best guys possible to prepare you for those games. So again, TCIS is done this week. We'll hopefully have a lot of teams going to state. I think you definitely have Catholic and NA going. And then on the other side, you definitely NSA will be there, and it's going to be the top threat in Division II, and they have every right. They are playing fantastic lacrosse.
Yep,
and again, if you get out, if those two teams are able to win today, and they do play tomorrow afternoon, that's a game to watch. That is anybody's ball game right now.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
All right, folks. Quick break.
So wow,
I know.
Weird, man.
Quick break, and we're going to come back with a guest who has done a lot for lacrosse in this area. He also has a unique perspective on the game in this area. He's coached both in public and now in private, and that's Jess Stevenson from Cape Henry.
That way.
So we'll be right back.
We'll see. I can't do it right. I'm backward.
Pain and Gain, your one-stop shop for all things field hockey. Located in Princess One Shopping Center, Virginia Beach, we carry everything you need on the turf, from black sticks, turf shoes, mouth guards, and much more. Try out your stick before you buy in our synthetic turf area. Pain and Gain. Embrace the pain, enjoy the game.
Get ready for a season of thrills and excitement. Virginia Beach United invites you to experience the adrenaline of USL League 2 Pro Soccer. Tickets are only $10 for adults, $7 for kids, and children 5 and under are free. It's the perfect family outing filled with fun and entertainment. Secure your seats now for a season of unforgettable soccer moments with Virginia Beach United. Don't miss out.
my face.
Welcome back, everybody. We got a great guest again this week. This is Coach Jess Stevenson from Cape Henry Collegiate. Jess, again, gives us a unique perspective. He's got the Go Fins up there. They play today. He's got every right to put that on there. They play today. They play a play-in matchup in the TCIS against Norfolk Collegiate. And Jess, as I mentioned, gives a very unique perspective around here with lacrosse. He's coached at Princess Anne High School and is now at Cape Henry. But more importantly, I'll tell you, I got to make a statement here. This is a guy who really goes under the radar for what he's done with lacrosse in this area. I've known Jess literally, I think, about a week after I moved down here, which was 20 years ago. I think I mentioned I met him in a parking lot when I was working, and he got me to play club lacrosse and coach. But he has done so much for this area, not only with lacrosse, but he hires young men. He's got his own medical device distributorship, much like myself, and he has hired numerous guys.
He employs the children.
That have played for him and that he's coached against. And he really doesn't get the credit that he deserves around here for what he has done for lacrosse. So, Jess Stevenson, I'm sitting next to your former teammate who brought his old helmet in.
That's right.
So
From the Marlins.
back in the olden days, a couple of founding fathers of the Marlin program. So children, when you're looking at your gear and you're complaining to your parents, I need a new helmet. I played with this. It has paper clips holding it together. Okay. Yeah. So Jess, I met him 1990-ish. Randomly moved down here from the Cuse. Had buddies going to ODU. Long story short, I ended up at Virginia Wesleyan. We're teammates. I mean,
First also assistant coach in 1989.
I was for the old,
Yeah.
for the old timers.
Dinosaurs roamed the earth.
For the old timers who know who Pete Rose is, Pete Rose, the player coach. That was me.
Yep.
The baseball analogy for lacrosse. But yeah, so I mean, you're about your teammates and that kind of stuff. I mean, we're older now. Look at us, and then still best friends. I mean, we have a group text.
Yep.
Group text of all our teammates. Still, it's 12 deep or so on there. And again, guys on teammates, just teammates, guys on teams. You guys are on these teams. We were terrible. Okay, all you new teams,
Yep.
VHSL guys.
Mm-hmm.
We were the Ophir team. We were the one in whatever. We were the Roanoke Whipping Boys. Okay, Lynchburg, I believe, robbed me when I was in the game. They stole my wallet from the locker room.
This is true story.
True story.
Broke into the locker room while
Must
we're
have
on
been
the field.
Long Island,
Yep. Broke into the locker room while we're on the field.
Wow.
Now listen,
Robbed us blind.
I had a lot less money then than I have now, but it was rough.
Took our beer and pizza money.
Well, Jess, I'm gonna shoot off the question to you. The first one from us is you've seen literally both sides of the ball, right? You've seen both sides here. What are your initial impressions? The differences, the similarities.
Both sides of the ball, you mean?
Yeah, both public and private. What's your impressions?
Yeah. Well, I kind of prepping for this over the weekend. Spent a lot of time thinking about where we are, where we're going, the differences between public and private, TCIS. And I kind of boiled it all down to one thing. If you like lacrosse, the public schools are a great place to be. If you're serious about lacrosse, like you want to play in college, you want to play at the next level, you're really serious about lacrosse, TCIS is the place to be. The commitment, the enthusiasm, the resources, everything's there to play at the highest level you want to go to. But I'm very proud of the public schools and where we started and where we've gotten to. There's still some really good players in the public schools, but if you like lacrosse, great place to be at public schools. But if you're serious about lacrosse and you want to go play at another level, that's the place to be, is in the TCIS.
Which is it's crazy for somebody like me, even though I've been here 20 years, to hear that. But you're an upstate guy. I mean, on Long Island, upstate, Maryland, for sure, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Massachusetts. You do not have to be recognized.
Every school's good.
Yeah,
Every school's good. Public, private.
I'm a public school guy from Locust Valley High School. I mean, it's a shame that it's that way But what can we do to get the public schools there, Jess? What do we got to do to get that?
This is a conversation we had a week or so ago. We've unfortunately on the public side, I feel like we had to take a step backwards to take 2 steps forward. And what I mean by that is it's very difficult. As when you were at Kellum, you've got just a handful of games. Whether it be against PA or Cox, against other talented teams, other competitive teams, and then you've got your developing programs that it's an upside down game. So you lack that competition in your entire schedule. So as Mark and I talked about a week or so ago, I think the next step is we've got to get it in the middle schools so that we've got players coming into high school with experience, and then the high school programs are better and more competitive across the entire Beach District. I think that's kind of like the next thing, because at the high school level, we've taken a step back to take 2 steps forward. We used to be able to go out and play a Jamestown or a Lafayette, who were always really good, or maybe a Grafton. We'd go down in the old Grassfield teams that Coach Herman coached were really good, putting guys in college left and right. I mean, there were some serious programs. What is now East Chesapeake or the old Hickory team, I mean, they were loaded with talent. Guys like Michael Long up at Bridgewater, who were very good. So you could get away from the new and developing programs to balance out your schedule and have a very competitive schedule throughout the season. And I think that's the thing that's missing at the public schools right now.
Yeah, we get the 4 extra games basically.
Yeah.
So like I said, Kellum got first flight, which was a good game.
Right.
That's another team like some of those you mentioned there. But
and with the VHSL rules, you can't schedule against club teams, because you could go up and play Lafayette and get a great game, but you got to drive right past the school. You got to go to Richmond to get that game.
Scrimmage.
It's unfortunate.
Jess, how do you feel that you're, segue back to the Marlins being a startup? Did that experience as a player help you then as a coach, as a kind of doing the startup kind of stuff? You talk about that maybe?
So I think when you look at one of the things that I didn't expect to continue having at Cape Henry was new players. And I was kind of sad that, like, one of the great things about Princess Anne High School was that everyone was a new player. We'd have 50 guys on the roster. 45 of them had never played before until they got to high school. Maybe we'd pick them up as a freshman or a sophomore. So we had to take those players and introduce the game and take them to good. Now at Cape Henry, I got 25 kids playing middle school lacrosse. We've got to now, take those players from good to great. But we have a small sample size of new players. Andrew McGuigan, Luke Whetstone, like guys that are seniors who've never played before, who are good. We've introduced the game to them. We've helped them find a passion for the game. So that little bit of that, still introducing the game to kids and bringing them over from other sports, is honestly the pride of my life. And handing a stick to a kid for the first time, that's the best thing anyone can do as a coach at any level, is the introduction, that first day of being a lacrosse player and changing their lives. And still getting to do that at a TCIS school has been really cool.
Jess, what is your opinion for both public and private players about playing club, about being able to get out there and play essentially all year round, which I know the 3 of us are big fans of playing different sports, but does that make them a lot better than guys who are just doing it in the spring?
So the horse is out of the barn. It's the for-profit side of lacrosse. It's here to stay. But we all got better
I'll be devil's advocate
through
on this
this
as well.
little thing called summer league, where you go and play against better, older, better competition. You go, you're in high school and you're going to go play against adults. I think the suggestion that you have to go pay a bunch of money to go play for a travel team outside of the area is wrong. Now, if you are there to be seen, go to prospect days, if you're there to capture eyes and become a recruit, if that's your mission, that's perfectly fine. But you can also accomplish that mission through prospect days and other recruiting events. the mere fact is that you have to pick up your stick. You have to have passion for the game, and you've got to compete throughout the year, whether it be in the fall league, summer league,
Weightlifting.
You got to do it all. But just summer league by itself
I'm going to be the
is a
minimalist.
great way to go.
I'll be the minimalist here. So we're talking about earlier about clearing and how teams struggle with all this stuff. Okay, so how do you get better at lacrosse? Going to some recruiting camp is not going to make you better at lacrosse. You play against better guys, whatever. Yeah, okay for that, but no, you got to throw and catch the ball with both hands. Okay, effectively. Okay, if you're playing basketball, coach isn't putting you in the game if you only dribble right-handed. Okay, you're not going to play. You're going to be on the bench. It's no different in lax. Okay, when you get to a team of 30 players that can all play. Okay, so there's that. So if you can't do that yet, you better be doing that. Okay, all day, every day. If you're serious, like Coach Stevenson's saying, you want to be a player. Okay, and again, I'm a minimalist with this stuff. Okay, I'm an old guy in the neighborhood. We used to go play pickup. We would have 2 or 3 guys with our street hockey sticks, playing street hockey, playing hoops, playing whatever. Now in lacrosse term, we call it 3x, 4x. Okay, how are you going to get better playing lacrosse? You play that. You don't need anything. You need 2 garbage cans and a couple kids. Okay, where you're going to get from there, you're going to get the game play. How do you play lacrosse? Okay, you're going to get the poise with the ball in your stick. You'll be not freaking out. Okay. I see you guys playing in these games. It looks like you're carrying a hand grenade and it's about to blow up. You throw it away.
Creativity too with the 3x.
Creativity.
3x, tennis ball lacrosse.
No
speed,
coaches
laps,
are out there.
No coaches out
Well,
there
I
yet.
take that back. The coaches are out there. The coaches are playing
we're
with
playing
you.
with you guys.
And we love it.
Our 3x league down at Beach Middle it's the best thing.
And no equipment, so no helmets.
Shout out to
Okay.
Duncan O'Brien for the invite to join 3x down there.
Yeah.
Solid.
So
Good
thanks,
job,
Duncan.
And we
What
What is
welcoming of new players too.
How many
That's what we've
dudes?
seen, where there's
wide
no,
open?
there's no excluding guys who are newer.
Or what?
Yeah,
We
and-
want new guys.
Yeah, Coach Hargrave, I think as coaches and as a new player, the biggest thing, and I say this a lot, if you're a new player, be patient with yourself. And as a coach, be patient with the new player.
In life.
If you're going to put them in a pressure-packed situation and learn too quickly, you're going to pick up bad habits. But be patient with yourself. You see kids come out and they can't catch a throw yet. They're making mistakes. They're making mistakes in a team drill. Just you have to be patient with as a teammate. You got to be patient with the new guys and be patient with yourself.
I
That's
wanted my place
that's
to be
huge.
a creative emporium where
It's
they
huge.
could go fail and they could figure it out.
Jess, when did you start playing lacrosse? Where are you from? How did you get introduced to the game?
Yeah. So I was a struggling public school student in central New Jersey. I was at Hunter Central High School. Had never picked up stick in my life.
You were changing horseshoes.
I was a horse and cattle farm in central
Right,
Jersey, and struggling public school. And and I knew it. I knew I was struggling. My mom and dad decided that it would be in my best interest to go to Valley Forge Military Academy. And I was like, it's probably a pretty good idea. And I got to Valley Forge Military Academy, and I quickly learned that if you want to stay out of trouble or stay away from the cadet leadership and lots of burpees and push-ups and everything else like that, play a sport, because you're out of their vision. You're on a field or in the wrestling room, wherever. So I was convinced to begin wrestling, which was great for me. And then this random guy, I wish I could find
Pretty tall wrestler though.
Yeah, I was smaller and skinny, and not a particularly good wrestler either. But I need to track this guy down, and if I could find his last name. His name was George, and he was an old man, being like a junior or senior in our company in B Company at Valley Forge Military Academy. And randomly, he's like, "Hey, you want to play catch?" And it was on a weekend, and I was like, "Oh, sure, why not?" And over in the grassy area by the barracks, and I'm learning playing catch. My parents happened to show up the next weekend, and we went to. I thought it was cool. I knew I needed to play a spring sport to stay away from the leadership, and my parents took me to Wayne Sporting Goods, right, a couple of miles from campus, and I bought my first stick. a Super Light 2 by Braun. And I've got a picture. I got a picture somewhere at we went to Valley Forge Park that afternoon and just to have lunch. And I got my stick and just hanging out with my brand new stick. It was awesome. And went on. That was my sophomore year in high school, and played. And this is one thing that drives me crazy about all the rules these days. Played JV. Got a little bit of time on varsity when we were up by 10, down by 10. Yeah,
up and down. Yeah.
Got a little taste of the varsity life, and then just fell in love with the game. I could sit there on the wall for hours, just banging away, and
Note to kids.
love the game. Love the
Note
game.
to kids.
I love that too. I mean, and again, I didn't realize I was actually developing superpowers with wall ball, but I was. It's a great way to, honestly, for me to emotionally regulate.
Yeah.
Back then when I was a kid, get my anger out. I would line bottles and cans on the bottom of the wall and just rip shots at them. I was developing a high to low release. Really
I learned
good.
to play in my little barracks room over a steel double bed with a little cement with a little block wall. I'm probably literally 5 feet from the wall, just back and forth, both hands, driving driving the guy next door to be nuts. That was it.
Jess, I got one more question for you. I'm
That's
going to
it.
throw your curveball a little bit.
Okay, go for
I
it.
always do. You're somebody that's a business owner, a local business owner, and somebody that, again, has employed numerous guys who have played the game, kids that needed a break in the device industry, which can be very difficult to get into, like other sales jobs. What are 3 things that you look for in a player and then in somebody that you hire that are similar to lacrosse?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be lacrosse, but similar to what you're trying to do on the field as a player and as a teammate. What do you look for in guys or gals?
So this is, I tell people this all the time. This is my 20th year in business with my company representing orthopedic manufacturers. And in those 20 years, I've never taken a resume, not one. And it is typically having spent a lot of time around Virginia Wesleyan and as an alumnus who is involved around the program. I'm watching the kids develop. I can see which kids have some personality that want to talk to you, who aren't hiding from you. They want to know who you are. And,
You're interviewing them
exactly.
all the time.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So, so many times it's been when I've needed somebody, we needed to add somebody to the staff. It's a phone call to Coach Stewart. Coach, who's graduating this year, and who do you like? And usually it's a name I know or I've met in the past. And if you make it through, if you make the commitment to play in college, and you make it through 4 years of college lacrosse, and not only the spring season's the easy part. That's the fun part because you're playing games. I remember Coach Stewart saying it one time.
Yeah,
we'll see how much you like college lacrosse when you're hitting the weights in November.
Oh,
And you haven't had a stick in your hand in a month.
That's right.
So
Up early.
right, if
Grades weren't quite up to par.
you're doing the work, you're academic all league, you're a captain on the team. I don't care if you're the leading scorer or not. It doesn't matter to me. But those are the guys that have the same characteristics of any successful person. So, we talk about public and private schools, and in the public schools, and as the programs are a little bit better, a little bit more established, like Kellum and Cox, they've got a history of guys going into play college ball.
Mm-hmm.
At the newer schools, you don't have that vision, and even at Princess Anne, there's a roster over there right now. There's 8 guys who could go play college D3 lacrosse right now.
I wouldn't have them at D3. I like who's 4? I like 4 a lot.
Luke who plays some
Luke
D2 ball, I think. Noah is probably a D2 D1 guy.
Big boy.
But my point is, they lack the vision to see what my teammate before me was able to accomplish. And that's the thing about the TCS. When I go back to saying, if you're serious about playing college lacrosse, if you're serious about lacrosse, there's that roadmap, there's that template there for you. Like, well, Jackson Keller, he went to Randolph-Macon, or Colin Sharp going up to Trinity.
Yeah.
You've got all these kids have gone from here to there. There's a
The yellow
vision
jacket
that
shock in the world.
your alumni provide for you.
Big win for them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Jess, we could sit here and talk to you for a couple hours.
Let's go for two. Let's go for 2 hours.
Absolutely. I know you got a game. I think you're going to stick around, though, for our last couple segments here, but I know you got a game today, and hopefully one tomorrow, and hopefully one Thursday.
Survive in advance.
Yep, that's
Survive in
right.
advance.
And we can't thank you enough for stopping by. And
Yeah, good stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
Love
Go,
it.
go,
Go Fins.
Absolutely. Good luck.
Boys, have a day.
Yep.
Take care.
All right, we'll be right back.
Over out,
Everybody.
Jess.
Thanks.
Good luck today.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
After more than 50 years of innovation, AstroTurf still leads the way. The inventor of artificial turf does it all, right here in the USA. We engineer, test, manufacture, and install the world's most innovative fibers and turf technologies, with over 30,000 tracks and fields worldwide. AstroTurf, powered by Sport Group.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
Where are we? There we are. We're back. Jess had a story to tell us.
Yeah.
And he
Better than
actually,
ever.
again, fits on this side of the camera with me, so that's a good start.
We're trying
So
to add
I want to, a lot of times I get, and you've said to me, I get more credit than I deserve on the motion of from club to VHSL.
Right.
All right. And I want to just quick shout out to all the coaches, administrators at HRLX. There are so many people for the last 20 years that have gotten so much done. So, quick story for you guys, and Coach Hargrave doesn't realize the impact he had on creation of club going to VHSL.
I don't know this stuff.
Okay, so this is great. So we're in Richmond for a 7x7 select tournament.
Oh yeah.
And this is in that time period, like 2014 and 2018, 18. Things are heating up. I'm president of the league at the moment, president of HRLX at the moment. Not much of an administrator, but I think a pretty good cheerleader for the game.
Absolutely.
So things are moving in the right direction. So if not daily, I'm constantly getting asked, hey, when are we going to be VHSL? When are we going to be VHSL? Quite honestly, I was getting tired of having to respond. So we're in Richmond at the Richmond Marriott or wherever we're staying for the 7x7 tournament.
Fun night.
And fun nights. We're in the restaurant area and standing at this table. It's you, Coach Damon Pizarro.
David Pizarro.
Yeah, great coach. And it might have been a fourth guy there. And here comes Coach Mark, and he's like, Jess, when are we gonna have VHSL? And I was just, after being out in the sun all day, I don't want to answer the question. And as he's asking the question, I look up at the bar and I see the answer to my problem. And I'm like, kind of slap the table and I'm like, I'm gonna go fix this right now. And I walk up to the bar. And Andy Fox is sitting at the bar.
I remember this.
And I literally, kind of slap him on the back a little bit, and I tell him, I've got a problem. You're gonna help me fix it. He's looking at me like, who is this man? What's he doing? Right. So I introduced myself, and we needed some media pressure to help us get over the hump. Yeah. We had Carolyn Rye, who was such a big help from the school board.
Remind why Andy was
Andy's son Charlie was goalie. Andy was goalie. His son Charlie was goalie on the 2018 or 2020 team. Oh, 20. He was 2020. But anyway,
thank you, Andy.
I see Andy at the bar, and we have a conversation about how we need to get the media involved. Yeah, it helps everything. So he's kind of like, I don't know, maybe we'll see. So I see him on Sunday at the tournament. He's like, yeah. There might be something there. Yeah. And Andy Fox calls me a year later and says, Jess, I got permission to do the story. And he goes on to tell me how it's going to be a 3-part story over 3 nights. Yeah. And they were interviewing coaches and players, boys and girls and administrators, soup to nuts, everyone.
Really good.
That's great.
And because of you, I basically being annoyed about having to answer the question.
Yeah, who knows me?
So that was you. So congratulations. And Hargrave, if it wasn't for Coach Hargrave, we would not have Andy Fox on our side. And thank you, Coach Hargrave. Great job.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to do a couple more things with Coach Stevenson here. We had our lacrosse tips the first week. We said we're going to keep bringing them up. And I'm going to give one. Coach Scotty's going to give one. And Jess is going to give one. We talked a little bit about stick placement with your hands the first week, or at least I did. The other thing that drives me nuts, young men and women, is cradling, right? So we have a tendency when we start the game, this is an old long pull, as you can see, it might not be a great indicator of how I want to do this here, but we see young kids, right, when they're cradling, when they start.
Coach, you want the helmet to put on? Just
that thing can fit my head. Okay. I used to have special made helmets that Mounts and Mary said fit me. So young kids have the tendency, right, we do this quick cradle, right? We're going too fast. It's wrong for 2 reasons, right? The biggest one, what if you got to get that ball out of your stick? How are you going to transition that ball to your teammate or even to the goal, right? So one thing we really need to work on when we're cradling kids is our fingertips, right? Nice loose hand, right? And our fingertips right on that stick. And it is really just a quarter, almost half cradle. Okay, so if you can get this on the, maybe you can do it a little bit on the side. Top hand, just a short cradle. The second part of this, right, is this stick for the most part never needs to come in front of my face. Okay, I want to have vision. I want to be able to get rid of that ball. That stick, right, that cradle can be what we call in the box here, right, from your head to your shoulder. Okay, so it can stay in that box in a nice quarter to almost half turn is more than enough when you're running with that ball or when you're about to pass it, right, or shoot it. We don't have to go nuts with that cradle. It is cosmetically bad, which I know you guys love your Instagram. You love to look good, which is one thing. But more importantly, it's just fundamentally bad. Keep that cradle nice and short. Keep it up by your head, and you're going to be ready to do whatever you need to do with the ball when it's in your stick.
How about that bottom hand, Coach, real quick? What's that doing? Is that gripping it like choking?
No, it's a guy. It's a guy. No white knuckles, kids, right? No white knuckles. Nice loose hands. You know, we obviously got to have our hands. Yeah, thank you. We got to have our hands on the stick. We got to protect the stick with our hands, but it's soft. Not white knuckle.
An athletic grip. When I teach young kids how to hold their stick, so it's like you're picking up a snake. Ooh, running diagonal through your hand, pinching pinching the shaft,
Mhm.
like you're trying to hold a snake.
Yeah.
You gotta have that wrist
Yes.
versus grasping.
Yes.
You gotta have that athletic.
Yeah,
grasp.
moms that are watching, we make sure the kids understand the non-poisonous snakes. So when they go to pick them up, they're safe. Okay.
Great
Thank
point
you.
though.
Not be
Right,
liable.
like our throwing, we're breaking our wrist a little bit, right? Cradling, we're breaking this way, right? We're breaking horizontally. Okay, that makes sense to everybody. So that's mine. Scotty, you got one?
I mean, just a quick on the sticks. Again, when you guys are out there playing, when you're playing 3-by, it's a chance to test this stuff out and be creative and really do all kinds of fun, cool stuff and try stuff. But I'm gonna go speak to mindset. So I'm gonna call it Mindset Monday today. I'm gonna give you this real quick. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just win today, then win the next day and the day after that. That's how you win the future, day by day. Leave it at that.
Does that stop when you play lacrosse, or is that every day? Every day now.
I will, I guess I'll carry that with what Coach Stevenson was saying earlier. I carry stuff I learned in sports from my coaches, from my experience, from my teammates every day, for sure in my professional life. I mean, back in 1994, I don't think the internet was invented yet. Okay? So there's no internet. I'm an advertising director doing print graphic design work. I like making stuff, guys. So that's my thing I like to do on the side. So I like building websites and doing that. But my boss comes in and she flies in there, best boss ever. She's like 4 foot tall, right? But she was so animated, like a cartoon character. She flies in my door like Seinfeld, like Kramer.
Yeah,
and flies in there. She's like, "Yeah, there's this new thing up. It's called the interwebs." She says, "Do you know how to make that?" I'm looking at her going, "What in the hell is the interwebs?" I'm saying to myself, but with a straight face, okay, because I don't care about being sucky at stuff I'm new at. I'm not afraid to fail at anything. I said, "I absolutely know how to make that." And you know what? I had no idea, but here we are today. Now I'm a software engineer. I get a big fancy title. So again, I got a business degree though from Virginia Wesleyan. And I was no rocket surgeon, as Jess can attest in college. So, guys, just, hey, listen, as I tease, I am a lifelong learner. I'm a curious person. What you get as a young guy and a young girl with the grades, I said this a couple of times already, I think, coaches, you have more opportunities, more doors will be open for you, okay? And that, again, I wish I did better at that when I was a young person. I would have had more opportunities as a young person with better grades. But
And as we get better players across this country, which we are, the grades are also improving. Talk again, any of these college coaches, it is getting super, super competitive. That can be the great equalizer.
Get the
Yeah,
grades.
Jess Stevenson and Scott Holava are both great players. Jess has a 3.5.
Careful where you go with this.
Well,
Someone's gonna get offended.
if Jess has a 2.5, it's got.
How do you know?
You're right, though. It's super important. It's a great separator. Did you have a tip? I'm sorry.
I did have a tip, but I'm going to give, you know what, it's a fundamental tip, but while we're on the subject of academics. How to catch the ball is important, don't get me wrong, but do your work, get good grades, and what comes with good grades comes good opportunity.
Yes.
When you want choices, you don't want to get pigeonholed into
My
the place
favorite
that
word.
take me is school A.
Choice.
What you really want is choice A, B, C, and D. And
Because
when
what
you have
door
A,
you
B,
want to
C,
go
and
through,
D,
man.
when you have A, B, C, and D fighting to have you as their student, you're going to get a better financial impact. You have your Division I guy, you might get a better scholarship. All that. You want choices.
Yes.
And the harder you work now, the more choices you'll have later, and the better opportunity that will.
And it's discipline too.
Be ahead of
We
you.
know the kids, again, boys and girls don't love school. Some of you do, but we know it's not always easy. But it's discipline. It's hard work. It's the same thing as on the field.
I would say, again, back to, being a lifelong learner and just being a curious person. I like what I like and I learn about it. I try to become good at it because I like it. I surround myself with people that are good at it. I ask questions of people that have already done it. I find mentors that do it. But, back to, instead of doom scrolling on our Instagram forever, pick up a book. Okay. Pick up a book. Again, I'm a huge John Gordon fan. I'm gonna talk about his ways forever as I'm out here. 2 great books. right here for sure. Hard hat right here, teammates. Read this, okay? Read this. This is going to give you great things. And this is, I'm a teammate, not only on my teams of lacrosse, I'm a teammate at the city of Virginia Beach on my team at work. Okay. They called me Mr. Positive today, this morning in our team meeting, so you bring the same stuff. It's the same. Okay. We just make apps and websites now. So, but again, we want to get better. Okay. My wall ball is learning new techniques, learning new coding things. Okay, that's my version of wall ball and sharpening the saw, as we say. So
it's not always easy as you get older. It's not always easy to be open to new things. But along the grades, this is why we kept Coach Jess here too. He gave us about half of these names, and people have wrote to me and Scott privately, which I love. Say, look, that's what we got.
Yeah, hey, shout out the guys' website. On our website, at the bottom of the page, there's a bunch of forums on there. I mean, if you need to hit us up, use those things, man. Get us info. We want to be better. We want ideas.
Absolutely. No. Go ahead. David Smith, Princeton. Another code 757.
Listen, Tigers.
Listen, some of these schools too. Again, this was just from guys we missed last week. Matt Wetmore at Williams up in Boston. David Foxwell at Guilford. Colin Sharp, and Leif Smith. I coached him for 8 years. Collins at Trinity, I love you, buddy. He's doing great. Leif Smith is a captain at WNL right now. Carter Lynch at Mary Washington. Brandon Good, Mary Washington. Jackson Holt, Mary Washington. Drew Duffy up at Hampton Sydney. Michael Wong from Hickory at Bridgewater. Buddy Metton, my boy again at Bridgewater, just graduated. Killian Craffle.
Yeah. All-American last year. Yeah. All-American last year. Killian.
Did really?
Yep.
Dude, awesome job, brother.
Yep.
Hunter Eppelman, who I know too at Hampton Sydney. Jack Hall, I coached for years. My long stick committee at Randolph-Macon.
Actually, he's at Hampton Sydney.
Hampton Sydney. That's right. He transferred.
Wonderful guy too.
Yeah, Jack's a great kid, great parents. David Russell, the Russell boys. David Russell up at Hamilton. His brother Max at Franklin and Marshall. Great program. Holt Bly, Trent's boy, Hampton Sydney.
Yep.
Trey Landolfi. Trey, you should be more merited than anybody else.
Sorry, Trey.
Thinking of everyone else, but
Catholic High School, CNU, going to the playoffs again. And a big shout out to Nick Fulks from Lansdowne High School. This is my pick of the week, man. First guy ever at Lansdowne to sign to college. Dude, awesome job, man. Randolph College, so proud of you. JJ Anderson, who was at Yorktown, who's at Hobart, Division I school. Folks, listen back to some of the names of these schools. These are not cupcake schools. These are tough academic schools to get into. What a great job, these boys, man.
Yeah, they get to keep playing.
Hell yeah. And Jess is good. He gives us about 15 of those names. Some of those kids should never talk to me again for forgetting.
Trey.
I get to use my older age and you guys for my forgetfulness.
We're going to keep Jess here too. Last couple minutes here, we got to talk about the NCAA. I mean, Notre Dame. What the heck is going on? You play at an elite level. Here we go. We got to bring it in again. Coach James is right. You're beating teams like UVA by 10 goals.
Here comes the league Corso of Hargrave and Holava.
I mean, here we go. He's back. The horse is back, dude. Yeah. The horse is out of the barn. He's back, and he's running the Kentucky Derby this weekend as Notre Dame.
The Irish can't be on this horse right now. There's nobody touching that team.
Here, you guys know better than
the Irish and everyone else.
But tell me, seriously here. It's one of two things with me. It could be multiple. You're in good shape. You got everybody a majority of the guys not hurt, and you're built for it. You're built for it in February. You're built for it in March. That going into May, this is where you want to be. Something's going on there that's special. It has been for years, but you're beating UVA and Duke by 10 goals.
It's a crazy complete team. I mean, every possible position. It's it's player at every position. It's nuts. Coming from a Cuse boy here, I was bummed seeing the bracket, the Cuses on their side. So it's like,
that's a tough one.
Sorry, Orange, but it's real.
We talked, Jess and I just talked about it before. I had a chance to talk to Kip Turner, who's a friend, who's a coach up at UVA, and I said, dude, how do you feel about drawing St. Joe's? He said, look, we're lucky that we're home. First of all, he said that we get to host it. He said, but that's the St. Joe's team that started off 0-3 this year and then ran through everyone. Richmond is a talented team, and they buried those guys yesterday.
Coach, I've been trying to get our one of our other local dudes, Chase Yeager, who's playing
Great
on
kid.
UVA
Yep.
right now. I want to pick his brain. Who's number 8 for Notre Dame? What's his name? Big boy, big mini dude. Yeah. No, not Jordan. The other dude. He's number 8, I think. Anyway, seeing Yates have to D up this dude is it's crazy.
There was a
But,
great
wow.
Instagram post. Might have been Blacks All Stars last week. After who did UVA play last week? They played Notre Dame. They played Notre Dame. Okay, so it's all about possessions where Chase Yeager was blowing up somebody on a ground ball, just defending his butt off, and there was like 6 pages on this Instagram post of like everything he's done right. But there's a guy who started off at Amherst playing Division III. Things on a little sideways in Amherst with the coaching staff and administration. And then on to Harvard, All-American,
All Ivy.
Great story. What a great story to do graduate work at UVA. But again, he did the academic work to have the choices.
There's no way he's there without it. And then Chase is very talented.
Yeah.
young
Nice
man.
job, Yates.
If you ever want to meet a guy who's put the time in the weight room, I mean,
He's the original Honey Badger right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I want to just back to this Notre Dame, just to segue to Jordan Faison. So, guys that are playing like football and basketball and other sports, right? Not in the springtime. This kid for Notre Dame, okay, freshman on the football team, and you got to Google him yourself. But I forget what bowl he's in. MVP of the bowl game.
Yes.
As a wideout for Notre Dame football. All right. Now in springtime, he's out there as Notre Dame lacrosse, playing midfield. Okay, I know this back to my web dev, one of my Florida sites, Florida Lacrosse News. Anyway, talking about him for the past couple of years, so I knew a little bit about him. But coolest thing, what I love about it, one multi-sport athlete. He's actually doing it at the NCAA Division I level, which is nutty. But again, coming from football to lacrosse, it's an easy transition. I went from football to lacrosse. I'm not Jordan Faison by any means. But again, back to the Notre Dame, watching the game, okay? I get chills watching this when I see, and I'm watching Jordan play, and then the ESPN pans to the sideline, and I see pretty much 50 Notre Dame football team members on the sideline going crazy at the lacrosse game.
Great support.
I love seeing that, and then again, coaches and I, we had a little pre-session argument today about the old
Sellies.
I want to talk about the bench sellies because I love the energy. And again, BYOE, bring your own energy. But, we go back and forth. The bench sellies, I think, are crazy. I love seeing them. I love it. Now, that being said, with class,
decorum,
the guy doing the bench press, whatever, that kind of stuff, awesome. I love it. But again, to me, I see it as a great way for the guys on the bench
to get involved,
to bring energy, be involved, show they care.
It's a slippery slope. When it's a 2 or 3 goal game, it's a very competitive game. Have fun, do your thing. I struggle with when it's a 10 or 12 goal game,
right?
And you've got a developing program.
Agreed.
They're eating crow along with getting worked over.
Right.
That's when I start to struggle.
I would think that would be where I stand as well.
Yeah.
I said I like the bench sellies, assuming that is exactly how
that's where I get.
I'm with you.
Lose me on that.
Well, that's back to our discrepancy in our level of play right now, just where everyone's at.
You have to have a perspective, right, on who you're playing, who you're competing against, and part of the development of this area comes from the winning programs to have that composure and understanding of how we're as a community going to go from here to there. And that's like, and you don't want to run guys away because they're developing. We want to be patient with them, like we talk about just the individual player. We want to be patient with the programs.
I can get on board with that.
I think they are. I'm not in Coach Zerpolo's brain. I can't speak for Coach Joe, but I can see what they do. Action, and I know they're not trying to run up scores. No one's trying to do that.
Right.
Again, we're not going to. We have a scoreboard, so it's up there for a reason. But you guys know me as a coach. I don't coach for the scoreboard. I'm not an outcome kind of person. To me, it's what we're doing. It's about what we're going to do anyway. So
correct.
Those kind of things,
Well, there's also the other side where Bill Tierney back in the 90s with all these wonderful teams he had. I mean,
Princeton team.
loaded. Tierney never scored more than 19 goals.
Never.
Somehow he figured out that he could keep it under 20.
Yep.
Still do his thing.
Alan Lowe from Manhasset too, Manhasset High School.
Mhm.
I played at Wilkes Valley, and Manhasset could have beat us 40-1. Garden City would beat you 32-2.
Mhm.
But Manhasset could have done the same, and Alan Lowe never passed 15 on us or on a team that was developing.
Back on the subject of two-sport athletes, I want to give a quick shout-out to Andrew McGuigan
Yeah,
at Cape Henry. So Andrew McGuigan is our Jim Brown. He's playing two sports in the same season. Catholic has a golfer.
Got to Google Jim Brown. Young
Google
kid.
Jim Brown. He go from a
Syracuse
lacrosse
boy.
team.
Let's go.
Well, we've got Andrew McGuigan, who's been like first team all TCI since 8th grade. Senior year, he decides to play lacrosse. He's got like 10 points in the season. One of the most athletic kids I've ever been around. Super attitude, team captain. As a senior, never played before.
that's somebody who's I bet is going to be successful.
So, Catholic game.
Mhm.
He's on the tennis courts playing away. All of a sudden, we got a new short stick DB, and like around the second quarter, he's Superman, jumps in the
Bada bing, bada boom.
comes out with a new uniform on, and now he's playing lacrosse.
Good job.
Amazing.
Yes,
Yes,
awesome.
great job.
And hey, before we go off the air, good luck to seeing you. Drew Cabrini. They're hosting yet another NCAA tournament game. We're going to have Mikey and Zach have agreed to come on the program after they win the national championship.
coaches.
That's awesome.
So they're going to come by. Again, great guys to talk to. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks for having
Big
I'm
week.
gonna read my.
Yeah.
yeah.
Before we leave, we got another great quote from Coach Holava. The big week, obviously TCAS and State's running, and then public schools up next couple of weeks with their playoffs. Scotty, take it away. Take us out.
Sweet. I'm going to leave you with some culture here. A little one of my favorite poems. It's called "The Man in the Glass." Here you go. When you get what you want and you're struggling for self, and the world makes you wait for a day, go to the mirror and look at yourself. See what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. Some people may think you a straight shooting chum and call you a wonderful guy, but the guy in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, or he's with you clear up to the end. And you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of life and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartaches and tears if you cheated the man in the glass.
That's
all
awesome,
I got
man.
for today.
I love it. Love it, Scotty. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll have another interesting show next week and the next few weeks coming up. As we say, it's the best time of the year.
Yes, sir. All right, nerds.
Thanks for having me.
Get your reading on.
Absolutely. Over and out. Thanks. Thanks, dude.
Awesome. That was great, man.
Sweet.